Okay, so in phase 3 of our trivia mock question answer program, ISU, we're going to start marking the responses. We're going to receive a response and we're going to tell the person whether they got the answer right or wrong. And if they got it wrong, we're going to tell them what the right answer was, because we've got that stored in our list here. Like the last item of each question row is the location of the right answer, so we can use that to help us tell the person what the right answer is if they got it wrong. We're also going to keep track of rights and wrongs, like corrects and incorrects, so we can update our scoreboard. Alright, so let's get started. We will start with some variables like right and wrong. Okay, so we're going to need those to keep track of rights and wrongs. Now we're going to use this GoDef to actually submit a question and tell them how they did. Now remember, this GoDef is already connected to our radio buttons way down here. Right, so command equals go. So as soon as we choose A, B, C, or D, it's going to boom. It's going to mark it right away and tell us how we did. All right, so here's what that code can look like. First of all, we're going to have access again to item. We need it for this one as well. And we also need access to right and wrong. So all three of these are global. Okay, so remember, questions at location item 5 is the right answer. So 2, 1, 3, 4, 2. Right, now when we submit an answer with our go command and our radio buttons, we're submitting 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're basically looking for the value of this, right, which is the choices get. If we go choice.get, we're going to get the value back that was assigned to it by whichever radio button we clicked. All right, and then we're going to see if that choice get is the same as this number here, okay, which is questions at location item 5. All right, so that's what this next part here is going to do. Okay, so first we're going to get the answer from choice, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to say if answer equals questions at item 5. Okay, so again, remember, do I still have it up here? No, I don't. Okay, but remember this is 5, which is the last piece, which is the answer we're looking for. Okay, so if those two match, then we chose the right answer. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to have a message called result that says you got it. We're going to add 1 to right. And we're going to update the right label score. Okay, so as soon as we get one more right, we have to reprint the correct answer's score in the label. Alright, so if we didn't get it right, we're going to go to an else. Now, the first thing we got to do in the else, guys, is we have to get the number that's associated with this. So remember, these are in quotes, so they're not numbers. Okay, they are locations of the right answer, though. So I'm going to get the number version of this. Okay, so I'm going to have a variable called right location, which is an int version of questions item 5. Okay, so say in the first question it's 2, right? But I don't want 2 in quotes. I want 2 without quotes. So this is going to do that. Okay, now I'm going to use questions at right location to get the right answer. Okay, so on the next line, I say result equals wrong, the answer is, and then I say questions item right location. Right, so this was a 2 in strings, now it's just the number 2, and then questions item 2, which is flametail, is the right answer. Because remember, this number represents 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so whichever one it is. Remember, 0 is the actual question itself, and then so 1 is option A, 2 is option B, so that's why this 2 represents this option here. Okay, so I have to first convert it to a number, which I do, and then I plug this right location in. It's just a number, it's the number 2, so item 2 is the right answer. Okay, so I'm adding it to result. Okay, so what's this result? Well, this is a variable that's eventually going to be on the button. So the button's going to tell me whether I got it right or wrong, and what the answer is if I got it wrong. Okay, so now we also want to do the same thing with wrong, the variable. We want to add 1 to wrong. We want to update the wrong label. All right. Now, this could be the last question, in which case we want our button to say game over, click to exit. Okay, but if it doesn't say that, then it'll just say click to go to the next question. All right, so here's what that looks like. If item is less than 4, that means we have more questions to come, so then result is going to add, like plus equals means add to result. So the result already says you got it right or you got it wrong. So we're adding to that message, click to continue to next question. Else, we are adding the message game over, click to exit. Okay, and then what do we do with this result? We put it on, we put it on the next button. Okay, we'll go down there in a second, but next button text equals result. Okay, so if you can't visualize that, I can sort of show you here. Okay, so this is my next button. So it says you got it. Click to continue to the next question, right? So we're building up this message here, and we're putting it as the text on the actual button. Okay, so it could say this. It could also say wrong. The answer was Flametail if I didn't choose Flametail. Also, if it's the last question, instead of saying click to continue, it's going to say click to exit the program, okay, or the game. All right, and then you saw this other thing that popped up. Let me just show you that really quick. Where is it here? There we go. So grid, so what does that do? It puts the button back on the grid. So why am I doing that? Because down in next question, I'm going to also add this, next button.grid remove. Okay, so when I pick a next question, I don't want that next button to be there. Okay, so I kind of did it a little bit backwards there, but we already have this from video 2, all this stuff here. So I added this line of code, next button.grid remove, to remove it from the grid, and then this restores it when we go to the next question. Okay, we did this remove grid thing with slot machines back in the day. If you did that program with me, but that's basically what we do there. All right, so that basically does everything we need it to do. The only other thing, guys, is at the very bottom now. We want to, oh yeah, I almost forgot one more thing, guys. Set options normal, and set options disabled, and set options state. Okay, let me explain this part to you as well. I forgot about this part. So when we go to answer a question, right, we want the choices A, B, C, D to be disabled. Okay, so set options disabled, as long as you've got this def set options here, it'll make them all disabled. And then we go to the next question, we set options back to normal, and that basically turns these back on. Okay, I forgot about that part. So that comes at the very bottom here. Right, and if you're not sure what that does, let me show you again up here really quick. Okay, so this is a screenshot of before I answer the question, right? So I'm about to answer Flametail. So as soon as I say Flametail, notice that now this button pops up, but these 4 things get disabled. That prevents me from answering this question again. All right, if I didn't do that, I could, if I got the answer wrong, I could then answer it again and get it right. So we basically want to turn these things off. All right, then as soon as I click to go to the next question, this button hides again, and then we turn these things back on. Okay, so that's just a little thing, but it's an important thing to guide the gameplay of the trivia game. Okay, so let me just bring that back up and I'll show that to you one more time. Okay, so because we have to either turn all these options on or all off, I created this def called set options where I send in the word disabled, which becomes my state. Okay, so it's either disabled or it's normal. Okay, so it goes disabled when after I've marked the question. Okay, and then it goes back to normal when I go to the next question. All right, so that way I can run this either as disabled or as normal, and it'll either turn them all off or turn them all on. Okay, and again, we turn them all on when we go to the next question. We turn them all off up here, disabled, when I've just answered a question, okay, and got back a result. All right, so that's it for marking. Now, the other thing is I don't want my next button to be seen right at the very beginning, because when I first start, I want there to be a question to answer, so I don't want the next button to be there. So then at the very bottom here, guys, I'm going to have next button.grid remove. Okay, so I don't think that's in your code yet. So put that in there as well. Leave the next question there because that's going to give us our first question. All right, but we want to remove this right off the grid when we first start. All right, so we're almost done, guys. I'm going to try this out and make sure that it now tells me when I'm right and wrong, and that I turn off and on the options when I need to, and that the program still ends after 5 questions. All right, so let's see if this works the way it should. So there's my first question, and Flametail is the right answer. So if I click Flametail, it says you got it. Okay, notice that the button wasn't there when I first started because I removed it from the grid, but it popped up with this command here. Where is it? Next button.grid. Right. So next button.grid brought it up, and then set option disabled turned all these things off. Now, as soon as I hit this, it's going to go to the next question. Right, I'm going to add 1 to the items. I'm not at 5 yet, so I'm going to basically lay out the questions again. Choice set question mark is going to take the dot out of here, so I've got no dots anywhere. I'm going to take the button back off again, and set options normal is going to turn these back on. Okay, so watch as all that happens with the click of a button. Okay, and there you go. So what makes Jigglypuff sing? I believe it's picking it up, but I'm just going to say attacking it, and it says wrong. The answer is picking it up. Let's continue. Now notice also, I forgot to mention this, I've got 1 and 1 now. Okay, who's that Pokemon? Well, we all know that's Bulbasaur, right? So you got it. Click continue to the next question. And what kind of Pokemon is Pikachu? Well, he's electric, right? So we'll click that, and you got it. Click to the next question. And this is my last question. I'm going to get this one wrong. Which Pokemon evolves to Blastoise? Obviously it's Squirtle, because that's who we're looking at, but I'm going to just say it's Meowth. And I got it wrong. The answer is Squirtle. Game over. Click to exit, and then the game exits. Okay, now you might have noticed too that the width of this trivia game kind of adjusted itself back and forth depending on the size of things. So that was another thing I had that kind of bugged me. We can fix that right now with the Q label. So the Q label keeps growing and shrinking depending on the length of the question. Okay, but if we set the width fixed at say 30, so just add that in as well, and that's going to make it look a little bit nicer so that it stays a fixed size the whole time, because it's always as wide as the biggest question. Okay, so watch, this should stay roughly the same size now, so I'll get this one right and see how it sort of stays the same size, and it just gives me more padding if the question's smaller. So picking it up, I'm going to try to go 5 for 5 this time. This is Bulbasaur, this is electric, and this is Squirtle. And you got it. Game over. Click to exit. 5-0. Okay, there we go. So in our last video, guys, we are going to install the startup screen. Okay, so when I first load this thing, I don't want the questions to start right away. I want there to be like an opening button I click on that takes me to the game. All right, and we'll do that in our last video.